Welcome to With Love Bridal Boutique. Today I have 10 tips on how to help you prepare for wedding dress shopping. So the first tip on preparing yourself for your bridal appointment would be do a little bit of research. A nice thing to do is take a look online, look at different wedding dress pictures, look in bridal magazines, just to see what kind of dresses are initially popping out at you. And then if you have, a couple of pictures, you can kind of look at what do these dresses all have in common with each other. You might be noticing that every picture that you've liked has had, an interesting illusion back or a low back. And you're like, okay, I definitely want something that has an interesting back detail. This is going to help you sort of gear your search on the day of. Of course, this could change later on once you actually try dresses on, but it's nice to have a starting off point of things you're definitely attracted to. There's also a couple of different things you might want to factor into the search for your dress. So the wedding venue. You want your dress to look like it fits in the venue, look like it's part of maybe a little bit of a wedding theme. So if you're planning a destination wedding on a beach, a large ball gown with lots of ruffles probably won't be the best choice for that. If you're having a very sort of rustic, down-to-earth wedding, very small, a big dress with, lots of beading and crystals probably won't suit that. So it does play a little bit of a role to kind of match your dress with the feel of your wedding day, just so that everything can kind of be geared around the dress. The time of year might also play a role in, the kind of styles, the neckline or the silhouette, or the type of fabric. If you want something a bit heavier or lighter, what's going to suit, a winter wedding when you're going to be in the snow as opposed to a hot wedding in the middle of July. You will be thanking yourself later if you're wearing a dress that is appropriate to the temperature that you're going to be dealing with. The next tip is to visit the website of the boutique that you want to create an appointment at. This is going to give you information on what designers that they carry there, as well as might have some pictures of up-to-date styles. So if there's a designer on the website that you find, and then you can look up the designer on their own personal website and see kind of what styles that they have. If there's a particular style you really like, you can call the boutique and ask them if they have that particular style available for you to try on, because just because a boutique carries a certain designer doesn't mean that they're going to have the whole collection. This kind of goes along with the next tip, which is to call in advance and book an appointment. So sometimes if you walk into a boutique, there might be a consultant available to help you, but it's really great to make sure you have an appointment booked so that you get their undivided attention. You're going to get a fitting room all to yourself. If you have anybody with you, they can sit, watch you try on gowns without, any worry of not having enough time. I really recommend booking an appointment here at With Love. Our appointments run for an hour and a half. So once you've talked to the boutique that you want to visit, you've gotten a feel for what they offer there, you can ask them about what their price range is. This is going to help you plan out your wedding dress budget. It's really important to plan the price point you want to spend on your dress, because with weddings, there's so many things, so many little factors, lots of things to pay for, that you want to be prepared and make sure that it coincides with what you're comfortable with. So the dresses at With Love Bridal as a company, whether it's our sister store Renewed With Love or our Kanata location, we can accommodate brides up to $4,000. Now, once you have your budget in place, it's really good to try your best to stick to the budget. I never recommend for a bride to try on a dress that is out of her price range, because if you fall in love with it, you might be stuck and feel stressed and worrying about that you're never going to find anything in your price point that you like. So it's best to just try what you're comfortable with. It will save you a lot of issues down the road. It's also important to remember to put into the budget the amount that you're going to need for alterations. Now, the price for alterations varies for every single bride and every single dress. And that's because when a dress comes in, it really depends on the fit, how it's going to fit the bride. Some women get lucky and it fits them really well. They might only need to take an up top or somewhere down the dress, but sometimes, depending on fit, you might need to take it in more than one place. You might need a hem as well as your bustle if you want cups sewn in, or any customizations that a bride might want, whether it's sleeves, straps. the price is always going to vary. So in general, we always tell brides to budget around $500 for alterations. It can be more, it can be less, depending on what's needed. Brides must keep in mind that you are going to want accessories for your wedding day. So earrings, necklace, if you want a veil, headpiece, you can find all of those things in a range from, $20 up to thousands of dollars. So you want to just make sure you're keeping that in mind in your full dress budget when you go shopping for your gown. The next tip is to start your dress shopping early. The standard time for a bride to be looking at a dress is about a year in advance. There's never too early to start. I've had brides get dresses 2-3 years in advance. If you fall in love with a dress, there's no wrong time to get it, but safely, if you're ordering your special gown, you want to make sure you're doing it at least 8 months before your wedding day. And that's because when the boutique is ordering a dress from the designer, it takes about 4 to 6 months for your dress to even arrive in the store. Once it has arrived, you can have a fitting, see how the dress is fitting, and then you will have alterations for the next 6 to 8 weeks before the wedding day. Also, once you start your wedding dress shopping, brides can never know how long that search could take. A lot of brides are lucky enough to find their wedding dress on their very first appointment, and some brides can also be very surprised that they find a dress on the first appointment. They don't really believe that it could be that easy, but if you find a dress that's making you feel amazing, that you absolutely love, there's no real need to continue the search, because if brides do end up trying on more and more dresses, it can get very overwhelming and very confused. And then brides can say by the end of it, I don't even know what I like anymore, because they've tried on so many gowns. So a year is a comfortable time to start looking for your dress. The next tip is to make sure that you buy a dress that is fitting you now. So once you are being measured for your wedding dress, you're going to look at a size chart from the designer and see how your measurements coincide with the sizing. So even if your wedding is in a year or 3 years, or you're planning on losing weight before the day, I always recommend to brides to order the size that they're fitting today, because whatever alterations might need to be done, it's always easier and more cost effective to bring a dress in rather than make a dress that is not fitting right because it's too small work. The next tip is to bring any accessories you know that you're planning on wearing on the wedding day. If you don't have an idea about accessories yet, that's fine, because the boutique will often have, jewelry for you to try on with the dress, or different pieces to kind of go with the look. But if there's heirlooms or your mother's veil that you definitely want to wear on the day, then bring that to the appointment with you. It's really going to help you make sure that it goes with the dress that you love and pull the whole look together for you. If you have your shoes picked out, that's great. Make sure you definitely bring them to the appointment with you to see how they go with the dress, as well as, different length options that you might need for the hem. Even if you don't have your shoes picked out, if you do bring a heel that's in the same height range that you're gonna want, bring those, because it'll still give you a nice idea of the length. The next tip is to avoid a big entourage. Now, I know it's a special moment where brides often want to share it with, their family members, their mother-in-law, their grandparents, their best friends, anyone that has been in their life recently. So best thing to do is make sure you're only bringing about 1 or 2 people with you, because when you have more and more opinions, conflicting ideas, different generations of people's values of dresses, styles that they love, it might actually skew what you're looking for in your own gown. So in order to kind of stay true to yourself, really feel like you're getting a dress that you love, it's going to be just beneficial to you if you only bring 1 or 2 people that really just know you really well, know your style, know what you're looking for, are going to be supportive, and just love anything that makes you happy. Because if you're bringing too many people, you can just start to lose sight of what you actually want and be confused as to what they want. The next tip is just to make sure that you feel good and look good the day of your appointment. So it's almost nice to even just do yourself up a little bit. If you're gonna be wearing your hair up, do a cute little updo. It's just gonna help you create the look of your wedding day, make you really feel awesome in the dress, and help you get the whole picture of what you're gonna look like in the dress. As well as make sure that you ate before the appointment, just to know that your mind's not going to be thinking about your stomach and you're really focused on finding your dream dress. If you feel good, look good, everything will hopefully run smoothly. Very last tip is to make sure that you trust yourself. This is your wedding day, so regardless of who you bring with you, make sure that your vision, your opinion, your tastes are front and foremost in your mind, and you're really focusing on you, how you want to feel, how you look, how the dress makes you feel. If your family loves it, that's a bonus, but if somebody doesn't, remember that the decision is ultimately yours. You're the bride, you're going to be wearing the dress. You want to look and feel like you've imagined, like you've dreamed on your wedding day. Those are just a couple tips to keep in mind when you're going to be looking for your wedding dress. I hope it helps, gears you towards what to expect during the process. And for all of the brides out there, happy shopping.